So, welcome to this full moon reading. So, just before I got online, I drew 3 cards and spent about 15 minutes looking at them a little bit, and we're going to see what comes through when I'm speaking about them. Again, these 3 cards. So, these 3 cards do have they do have more of a specific meaning this time because it came out that way. The first card is going to be the primal story around which the other 2 cards are supporting the message for this story, supporting the story itself. And I'll show you all 3 cards now, and then I'll get into looking at them. The first card is the reversed Empress, which is quite powerful and interesting. The second card, in the position of what I might call the unseen, the resistance, and the shadow story, is the reversed King of Cups. And then the lighter resolution sort of position where we find a more deeper solutions to this problem, even though the whole message is the solution itself. But the more powerful card that comes in to clean things up again is the Lover's card. So we have these 2 major arcana cards and 1 member of the court, and I'm going to try and jump back and forth between these 3 cards to give a more clear message of what is coming through as something maybe important that hopefully you resonate with, and hopefully this can bring a little bit of clarity to wherever you might be in your life, at least for this period, this time space. Story starting with this full moon, which is taking place right now. So the Empress reversed. She is the Divine Mother on many fronts, and she represents the divine feminine manifestation queen, if that makes sense. The manifestation queen, the queen of allowing, the queen of love, hence this Venus symbol here, but the queen of diversity at the same time. She is the empress of the manifest world, and that's why she sits with this abundance all around her, and on this chaise longue all day long, on the chaise longue. And she represents, or she brings forth, this powerful lesson of creativity in a very feminine and receptive and passive way. So we quite often think about creativity as going out and doing things and making things happen, and yet the feminine creative power is in allowing things to happen. And it's a little bit like the pregnancy that takes place inside of the female body, which is that 9 months of gestation, which is a nurturing 9 months. It's a nurturing experience. You don't see anything. You see a belly growing, but you don't see the incredible creative power of something manifesting into life form. And she represents this, on the outside, calm serenity, but on the inside, allowing everything to manifest and allowing life to become, and allowing love to overflow and become abundant in her vicinity, in her life, inside of her body, inside of herself, and inside of the world around us. When this card is reversed, there's a blockage to that allowing quite often, and there is a natural resistance for our creativity to take place without too much of our interference or our effort, or without us needing to be, to do, to act, to be the initiators of our creative, attractive force. She is the power. She's law of attraction in its invisible sense. And when I say invisible sense, I mean like we think, oh, well, if I'm going to go out and create something, I'm going to run around and go and do it. And she is the invisible. If I'm going to create something, I'm going to match the vibration of what I want to create and then watch it appear. And she does that on the chaise longue. And this is the power of that attractive feminine. This is the power of that that magnetism that we all have. And it's the magnetism that says, align yourself to your hearts, and then the world will align itself to that same vibration. And she represents this feminine alignment with our heart. And this being upside down brings up the question, hey, why aren't I aligned with my heart? How can I be more aligned with my heart? Why do I think that everything that I need to manifest has to come with a huge amount of effort and a huge amount of work? And in order to go a little bit deeper into this why and this questioning, I'm going to bring up the king, which on many fronts is probably the most interesting card in this reading, and this reversed king. We're going to start relating him to this story. So if we read him just simply on his own, stand alone, he represents the part of us that normally this king is the emotional maturity of the masculine, who can hold space, who can stand on that surfboard and ride the biggest wave and not dominate the ocean, but feel confident in that power, in that craziness, and that ups and downs, and the highs and the lows of our emotional flow and our emotional movement as we feel everything, as we feel the deepest dark emotions and the highest joyful emotions. This king can hold space for both without getting carried away. That is his highest and most amazing quality. And he also has such a high emotional IQ that he can understand, and relating him to this empress, he understands how he feels in every moment will be one of the governing magnetic and attractive forces in his life. For this reason, he is very particular about where he goes emotionally. He's very particular about staying at peace when there's storm around him. So this is his gift. And when I say staying at peace, it doesn't mean on the inside he's not feeling the highs and lows. He definitely is, but he's so accustomed to them. He's so he's embodied them so many times. He knows them so well that they don't surprise him, they don't shock him, and he doesn't get carried away. But when he's upside down, he gets carried away, and he can get too high with something small that he might feel. He'll get carried away with it. And what that means is that he's not always holding space for his own emotional space well enough for him to allow his feelings to be. And relating him to the empress, she is the queen, she is the empress of allowing life to be. And there's this nature of this king, and I think we can see it in the world quite easily. We can see it in ourselves too. So one of the consequences of not allowing our emotional experiences to be observed, to be felt, to be respected, no matter whether they're high or low, is that when we resist feeling certain things, or when our ego becomes involved and wants to use the emotions that we're feeling to create a little bit more of my individual identity, the consequence of that is that we then project out onto the world what we're feeling, and we can easily blame the world for our emotional states and our emotional immaturity, I would say. So we'll feel crappy and we'll have a look around. What made me feel crappy? And we'll throw some blame and shame out there onto the world. We'll feel sad and we'll feel angry. We'll throw some judgment out there, and we'll project the cause of our ill feeling. Not that we have a tendency to, everybody has the tendency to get high and get low, but no, we'll be really sensitive and really really aware of our feelings, and then we'll go and blame the world for those feelings that we have. And this is not taking responsibility for our own emotional state. This is not holding space for ourselves, and it disempowers us, and it doesn't allow us to sit on that chaise longue very long. It doesn't allow us to really allow and appreciate the creation that's around us, no matter whether we're getting dumped by that big wave and we're getting tossed around, to appreciate the richness of the ability to go out in the ocean and get dumped. But this is part of, it's like turning around and going, oh my God, that ocean, you're such a naughty, bad ocean. Oh, how I hate you. Hang on a minute. Didn't we go surfing? And it's a little bit like that. We are surfing this world, and this world is an emotional world. We can't stop it from being that. It's always going to be that way. And yet quite often we think, okay, well, if this triggered me into feeling this, then I can't be to blame. That's to blame. And this is where we disempower ourselves emotionally. And this is something that this reverse king might do. It is a way of giving away the control that we have, not control over a strict controlling type way, but the control of choice and the ability to choose our emotional state from one moment to the next. If we've given that away, if we make ourselves victims by reinforcing ideas of blame. So there's a tendency to, when we're on a high, the ego will jump in and go, oh, great, I'm doing something right. Aren't I cool? Isn't my life great? I'm fantastic. And it will claim the ownership of anything that took place in order to feel that high, right? And it might have also been something that was gifted by the world on the outside, and yet the ego would like to claim that ownership of feeling good itself, and it will often do that. And then when we go down into the low and we don't feel so great, the ego will also jump in and go, well, that must, I'm feeling crap, so that must definitely be a problem of something out there in the world. Or we might even blame ourselves, and we often will blame ourselves for not being good enough. And again, we're not holding space for ourselves. We're not seeing the richness and the abundance that life offers us, that life is all around us. We're just focusing on lack. And so the Empress can't step into her passive manifestation creative power if we are only looking at the lack and what we don't have, and we can't actually open our eyes wide enough to see, wow, this world is intense, it's crazy, it's up and down, but it is amazing, and it's a gift. And it kind of reminds me, I had this out of body experience where I was talking to like some this is just an aside, but I was talking to some non-physical entities, and they were just saying, hey, you don't understand the amount of energy that wants to become manifest in bodily form, wants to incarnate in this world right now at this time, because it's such a powerful time, and because there's so much going on, and because there's a huge amount of transformation and change. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, beings are queuing up to manifest and to be born in this world, because there's so much going on, and I think it's quite a negative program that we have, or belief that we have, that we haven't nurtured the idea that just to be born here is quite fantastic. Yeah, we might struggle. Yeah, we're going to have ups and downs and highs and lows, but the actual ability to interact in a physical plane in some meat suit we call our own body is actually an amazing opportunity in itself, and one that we can step outside and look at and go, wow, it's mad, it's confused, it's quite silly and nonsensical at many times, but it still is amazing. And the king and this empress, when they're reversed, are questioning our ability to recognize and appreciate everything that we've got, and this amazing manifestation that's coming through into this world, whether we choose to look at it or not. It's there for everybody to see, and it's there for us to embody. But more personally and individually, it's saying, hey, why and how can I own my emotions? How can I ride those highs and lows? Because we all have. And it's not like our first time in the emotional boat. It's not our first time surfing those waves. We've all been dumped 100 times, and we've all had amazing highs. How can I jump in here and really have an honest interaction with my emotions? And how can I choose to feel what will allow me to draw in magnetically into my life that which I want to create, and that which wants to be created through me? Because yeah, we could talk about incarnating souls and pregnancies and stuff like that, but this is a metaphor. I'm never going to get pregnant, but what wants to come through me? Am I going to allow that to come through? Am I going to own my choice of how I feel long enough, consistently enough, and persistently enough in order to call in something that matches my alignment with my heart? And this is the gift of the Lovers, because the Lovers speaks about just this, about getting naked, about being honest with ourselves, about taking all your masks off, taking your clothes off, and looking inside to ourselves and saying, who am I without all of this covering? Who am I? What is the point of me being here? And it's about diving in and having this honest and naked and intimate conversation with ourselves, because in that infinite conversation with ourselves, just pulling our questioning into a different realm, a realm of abstract thought, a realm where we're not just thinking about mundane things that call for our attention every day, but we're focusing on, hey, what isn't the point of me being here? Why? How can I bring, and specifically in this reading, how can I bring myself into alignment with my heart? And what does that even mean, to be aligned with my heart? And what would my heart say in this situation? And have these conversations with ourselves. And hey, is this my ego speaking? Am I wanting to do this because I don't know, because of lack, or because of fear, or because of doubt, or because she was the bad one and he was the naughty person? And you know, are we running around blaming the world for who we are, or can we claim our power back? And can we claim that choice back, that choice to be emotionally magnetic and to draw into our lives exactly what we want? Do we know what we want so we can draw into it? Do we know how it feels so that we can practice feeling it? Can we hold space for ourselves in those moments when we don't feel great, so that we can, hey, maybe I can not feel great for a little bit, but hey, it's just a wave. It's going to go past, and then there's going to be a calm spot, and I'm going to come up, and it's going to be fine. It's a wave. It passes. It moves past me. Hold space for yourselves when we go down under the water, and then we'll come back up to the surface, and we'll ask ourselves, hey, next time we're going to catch that wave, and we're going to ride it, because that riding of the wave, I don't know why I'm using all this surf. I don't even surf, but the riding of the wave metaphor is kind of like the ability to stand up straight above your emotions and choose which way you go with your feelings. Choose how to flow with the water, and that's the choice. That's the choice which will allow us to manifest without too much effort. And we have to claim our emotional power in order to do that. We have to hold space for ourselves and watch out when we might blame the world on the outside. And we have to just be simply honest with what it is we want and what it is that might feel, and to be able to listen to our subconscious, you know, take that inner conversation and make it a beautiful one. That's the full moon reading for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it resonates with you in some way or another. And if it does, great, share this video and like it and subscribe to all the goodies, and join me and join us in our group for more of these great chats.